I know you hold on. I had a question and a comment.
Always.
Folks, you can hold the mic, but what I'm going to want you to do is when Roger reaches his hand for that mic, you've got to give it back.
Okay.
Okay, so you can hold it. So stand close to him, Roger.
The comment is, I believe wholeheartedly in what you said about the governor. What he did was wrong when he went to this Muslim thing,
Islamic Society of North,
and what he said at the end. And I look back and I see Ed and Joe and Dave, and we're all going to be statutory members of the Washington County Executive Board come January. They think we're crazy. They think you're crazy. They don't.
They do?
They have to. We've got to try to convince them, and that's one thing I hope that we can do.
Let me go on record, because some may witness this. I don't think they think we're crazy. I just think that they don't think we can make our philosophy work. Okay, they don't think we're crazy. Most of them don't agree with us. So go ahead.
And
He's taking it over.
the question I have is, I saw something this morning and it kind of shocked me. The United States government has opened up a gold reserve. The gold has gone down to $1,300 an ounce. It was at $1,800. And they're putting all our money in. They're telling Americans to buy. The question is, how are they controlling that? I don't understand that, because doesn't that, when the price of gold goes down, that hurts China, and when we pump oil, that hurts Russia.
Okay, you're telling what happened. Give Roger. Okay, your question was, how are they controlling it?
How are they controlling it?
Okay, I've got an answer for you. I don't know.
Well, Max Kaiser does.
Yeah, Dave's exactly right. There are people who know how the control of this is and how to do this. And quite frankly, we're not stupid. We're not smart enough to hold them accountable. We've been allowing it in silence for a very long time, and they've been manipulating the price of gold and silver gold. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, people want to understand, they've got to watch Max Kaiser, Economic Warfare. It's on Arson Television. And you can get it on the internet just by maxkaiser.com. He knows how they, in detail, how they manipulate the price of gold. Very sophisticated.
Okay, here's the thing about both of those. Too late for remedy. Too late for remedy. Study how Max Kaiser does it. We can't gain remedy by understanding it. We're too far into this calamity. As a matter of fact, it's already happened, and we just don't know it. They're propping it up to keep the impact from happening, to try to keep people getting elected so they can get into power enough to manipulate the policies during it. Folks, while somebody else is thinking about another question, the donation box is out, and let me talk to you about a couple of things. We still need to raise $100 for that dinner. I gave Tony the money out of my pocket, and I want it back. Listen, it was an honor to be able to turn that money over to Tony. We raised $500, or almost $500. But it cost, by the time we did the dinners and the pies, it cost almost $600. So we're still 100 shy. There were some folks who gave sizable donations. So some folks may not realize that it's on us. It's on the people who come here to finance that, and maybe we won't do it next year. We'll take a consensus. And then the next thing, my brother's got the mic, and I want to give him enough time. I want to get this out of the way. We're closing down our website. About $25 a month, and I've been paying that myself for the last 2 months. because I didn't want it to close down without being able to get your list. So what I put out is an email list, broadcast, that if you want to be on our broadcast, we will put together a list that's outside of that site, and we will still do the broadcast. Tell you what's going on, who's speaking, and what my opening remarks have been.
You can get a better website for less.
Yeah, and I don't know that we need a website. We just need to be able to broadcast because there's not very many people, traffic on that website. So this donation box will be out until we recover the money that has been put out. And once that's done, I do not like asking for money. We are not a 501c3, and when you give money, you have to trust me. And I appreciate that trust. It means something to me. But it was a privilege to be able to give Tony that money from our caucus, and it was a privilege for me to believe that our caucus cares enough about Tony and this restaurant to thank him for putting up with us and giving us his venue for 5 years. Go ahead, Ed.
With my failing memory, I just want to reaffirm some of the things that you've been saying about the fact that our president is a Muslim. You know, we've heard the term know yourself and know your enemy. If we don't know our enemy, we can't react properly. Now, my memory, if it serves me correctly, is that the highest attainment of a Muslim is intrigue and deception of their enemy before they behead them. The greatest thrill that the jihadists, the Muslim community has in their training is all infidels are to be slain. They are the enemy of Allah. But the highest attainment again is intrigue and deception. I don't believe there is any such thing as a moderate Muslim or Islamist.
I've come to agree.
And here's the reason. They are trained saboteurs in this idea of intrigue and deception before the slaying. And that's the highest ideal that they have in their mentality. Now I know that in America we have Islamists who have fallen in love with the ideal of capitalism and comfort and are selling their Muslim training to some degree just to enjoy and prolong what they're enjoying here in America. But when it comes right down to it, they are ready and willing to involve themselves and inject themselves into this ideal of intrigue and deception before the slaying.
Yes.
Now, you remember we had a conversation once about Barak was the name of Muhammad's horse.
This is true. I researched it. My brother told me this, and I'm saying, I'm researching that.
Yeah, they went on Google or something and found it out right away.
A little different spelling, but you know, you get different spelling doesn't mean it isn't the
If
same.
you don't know who your enemy is, you don't know who your president is.
So the winged white horse that Muhammad ascended into heaven at the Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem, the name of that horse was Barak.
Now, going on to say, these people are patient saboteurs, and their highest ideal, again, is intrigue and deception. They delight in this like no other human emotion that we can drum up in our patriotic zeal for America. That is the highest ideal, is intrigue and deception before they slay their enemy. And I just want to confirm what you're saying. Know your enemy. Know yourself. Where do you stand? What do you believe? What are you willing to die for? Where are we in this equation as we strive and endeavor to salvage the wonderful constitutional America that we have known in the past.
As I follow up on that, if you've got another thought, go ahead with it, but I do need to follow up on a point you're making. I believe that there's Muslims who authorize in silence because they are ignorant, they ignore what Islam is. Just like we have Christians who authorize in silence because they don't really know what's going on, they're ignorant. I think there are some Muslims that are ignorant. It doesn't mean that they're secular. It doesn't mean that they don't authorize Islam because they do authorize it. And so, Ed, if you have a follow-up that you wanted to continue, go ahead, grab the mic.
What was that term you were using for the willingly ignorant? But
A willing suspension of disbelief. I borrowed it from Hillary.
okay, well, no, that's a Bible term, by the way. I just wanted to bring this out.
Okay.
In the book of Romans, it says.
Wait a minute, Hillary knows the Bible?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I'm trying to bring out the Bible term, if you'll permit me.
Go ahead.
There's a term in the Bible that says, for this cause they are willingly ignorant. And that relates to the faith in the Lord Jesus Christ and bowing to His Lordship. But
Let's go.
willingly ignorant. For this cause they're willingly ignorant. And you're setting aside, you know the truth, but you're setting aside the truth in favor of your own self-interest or self-aggrandizement or political desires that have been forced upon you by your partisan relationship.
You've just given me a wonderful education because...
All right, I'm going to stop now.
You just gave me a wonderful education because you quoted a Bible scripture that says they are willingly ignorant. And see, because before that I never knew Democrats were in the Bible.
There they are.
Where's the laughter? It was a joke. Okay, go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, just to add to what Ed was saying, isn't that their greatest ideal, their greatest goal is to deceive before they slave us because they view their God as the greatest deceiver of all, who we take as Satan. And
Absolutely. You're right.
And, you know, in the reference to deceive us, like Ed was also saying, we have to truly know ourselves, or at least we will be deceived by ourselves.
Let us not be willingly ignorant.
Right. And as a footnote, I would think that Muhammad's horse probably has a lot more sense than our president does.
Well, he did ascend.
There is a joke in there somewhere. And we're all laughing at it because it's not very good to
That's
tell.
called horse sense.
Person. See?
I don't think the question is what are we willing to die for. I think, as Patton said, he's not here to get us to die for our country. He's here to get us to get the enemy to die for his country.
True enough, but are you willing? Ed's point was, not that we will die, are we willing to die? Because you know those prisoners in the belly of the English warship? They were there because they were willing. Some of the first ones that rose, and you got to understand about the War of 1812.
Slaves, they ran the boat.
Yeah, they paddled the boat. But they were in chains this day.
They commonly used slaves to propel the boats.
These weren't slaves, though.
Oh, they
These were captured men who fell in favor.
Some of them were, but the slave.
Don't mess up my premise. Of course there were slaves. There were slaves in the bellies of those ships.
To the truth.
But the national anthem was coined because of patriots who fell in favor of the flag. And the point I want to make about the War of 1812, that was an effort for the international bankers of the European continent to retake this rowdy bunch over here across the pond. And they failed because patriot pastors, patriot Americans rose, farmers rose,